Bye.
All right, guys, and welcome back to the Midfield 4 podcast. This is episode 2. Just before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much for the support on the first episode on all the platforms. It did really well, and we're really thankful to everyone who tunes in. So if you're back again, thank you very much for listening. We've got a lot of interesting topics to talk about today. We're going to sort of go through the week of European football, sort of predict what we think is going to happen for the rest of the tournament. If you've caught any of the games, it's been pretty mad. So we'll get into that in a minute. We're going to talk about Arsenal as well after their little blip, and we're going to talk about what they can do to get their season back on track. Also going to discuss who we think is our best signing of the January window so far. There's been a lot of successful transfers, so we're going to sort of talk about them and who's been the most successful so far. And as we talked about last week, Erik Ten Hag seems like he is now pretty much got the job. So we're going to talk about sort of maybe some of his first transfer moves he might make at United. So we'll get straight into it. So I'll introduce the other hosts as always. So Matt, first of all, how are you?
Not too bad, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Obviously Arsenal on a bit of a wobble at the minute. We'll get onto that in a minute. But Tay, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, pleasure, mate. Pleasure as always. Demille, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. As for United, we're not talking about them really today. How bad was that Everton game? My word.
You did call it though as well.
Yeah, no, we literally said
you did call it. But I went mad. I was furious. I don't know why. I just flipped out. I flipped out. But I'm on loan to Spurs, so it's all good.
On loan to Spurs.
Nah, it was horrendous though. And as I said, the less United talk in a minute, the better. But we are really bad. As always, we're going to do our quiz to start the show. So we had a few people come back to us saying about the last quiz. Not too many people did well, but as we said last episode, Tay is going to be the host today. So he's about to read out his 5 questions. He's quite happy with them by the sounds of it. So
us
guys will send in our answers and then we'll reveal at the end of the show. So let us know how you guys get on. So I'll hand straight over to Tay. Fire away.
Well, welcome to the Quizmaster this week. I've put a lot of thought into these, a bit of research. A few of them are very common, but a few of them might catch you by surprise. So for the first question of the week, very easy one. I expect you to get this. Wayne Rooney scored his first ever Premier League goal against which side?
Okay.
That's poor if you don't get that. I thought I'd start off with nice. So we get straight into question number 2. Goalkeeper David Seaman joined which club after leaving Arsenal?
Okay. I think I know that one.
And that should be you, Matt. I know you're a few years younger than us, but that should be you.
This is tough.
This one, I was 50-50 about leaving it in for number 3 because you always hear stories about this, but I did my research and I believe this to be true. But if you don't get this, I won't blame you. Rangers tried to sign which starlet after hearing about after Alex Cleese found out about him through Football Manager? This is I looked this up and I believe this to be fact, and it sounds like one of them Zidane Blackburn Rovers wife tales, but no, this is genuine to my knowledge.
One of those I've seen.
Someone might get that. Someone must have heard that, but
what's the question?
Rangers tried to sign which player after hearing about his ability in Football Manager. They were brought to him by Alex McLeish, and he found out about this player from Football Manager.
Wait, can I get the other clue? Like the year?
Yeah, give us the year.
Okay. He would be the best player to ever play in the United Kingdom. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Okay.
I've definitely heard this. I just can't remember. I have to have a think.
Question number 4, and this is another pretty easy one. Only player to win a Champions League with 3 separate clubs. Who is it? And I'll give you a point for every club you can name as well.
Okay.
Only one player's ever done this.
I literally answered this question a few months ago.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's these sort of questions. You've seen them before, but...
So I'll run through the question one more time. There has been one player in history to win a Champions League title with 3 different clubs. Name of the player, and I'll give you a point as well for each of the clubs you can name.
Okay.
Okay. And then question number 5. I'll give you, obviously, Manchester United, Liverpool was it next week. I've tried to base a theme around this. Said, so there's, to my knowledge, within the last 10 years, there's been like 12 years, there's been 3 players to score a hat trick in the Premier League in this Premier League fixture. I'll give you a point for every player you can name.
Okay.
Wait, what fixture?
I know
Manchester
I know all
United,
3.
Liverpool.
Oh,
You
okay.
know all 3?
Yeah.
Okay, fair
There's
enough.
been what? 3 hat tricks.
To my knowledge, this is my own research, so it could be wrong, but there's been 3 players in the last 12 years in the Premier League fixture between Manchester United and Liverpool to score a hat trick. I'll give you a point for every player you can name.
I can name 2.
Is that like 2010 onwards?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure I've got that.
Yeah.
All right.
I knew 2 of them straight away, but the third one, it didn't catch me off guard, but I kind of forgot.
They're good. I rate them. Fair play.
Thank you so much. I spent about a whole 25 minutes on them. Believe it or not.
Again, if you're watching this as a clip or seeing this on the pod, just let us know how you get on with them, and we'll reveal at the end of the show.
Can you repeat question 4?
Of course I can, my friends. I feel a little bit bad for question 3 because I don't know. Anyway, the only player in history to have won a Champions League at 3 different clubs. Can you name the player and an extra point for every club you can name?
I'm just gonna go. I guarantee it's wrong, but
I'll have to
get 0 here. This is a shambles.
That's what I like to hear. I'm trying to catch up from last week.
To be fair, quite a few United-oriented questions.
I saw the fixture coming up, so I thought. I mean, the Rooney ones should be cash money, but the rest of them are a little bit.
It should be, but if I speak.
All right, we'll move on then. So let us know how you get on with them, and the answer will be at the end of the show. So we're just going to sort of round up. We're not going to go into too much detail, but round up everything that's happened in Europe over the last week. It's been pretty mental. I don't really know where to start. Obviously, we had the crazy game between Chelsea and Real Madrid. This has been spoke about to death, but I thought Real Madrid were really, really poor, and the fact they almost threw that game away, doesn't give me that much confidence they're going to get anything against City. Chelsea were fantastic on the night, to be fair. They did everything that they could have asked for, put in a great performance, but just wasn't enough in the end. I mean, I'll ask a few questions. I mean, Alonso handball, harsh?
Yeah, it's harsh.
It's handball.
You think it was?
In the laws of the game, yeah.
Yeah, but again, it's a law problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
They need to change it.
If you use your common sense, it's not. But based on the laws that they've laid out, it is. So unfortunately,
they've got the handballs, the handball situation, like the judgmental side of it. They got it like absolutely wrong. But in terms of the law, you got to stick to the law. But I'll say Chelsea were very, very unlucky not to win that game. I mean, they outplayed Real to do that.
But not only outplayed though, they were 10 times better, like miles better. Madrid were awful.
Yeah, and to do that at the Bernabeu is some feat. So credit to Chelsea.
I mean, in the end, it literally come to. I mean, Pulisic missed a good chance, Havertz missed a good chance, and Benzema made a hard chance look easy and got the winner. Yeah. Like, the player with that sort of experience came through, and that Pulisic chance. If I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be waking up and seeing that nightmares. Like,
to be fair, I don't think it's as good a chance as some people make. I mean, it was still like a volley, wasn't it?
Yeah, great chance. They were right at the end.
We talk about that Havertz chance at the end as well. Like, I saw people.
I thought the Havertz chance is more.
I did, but I still, you should probably hit the target. But I think it's a wonder goal if he scores it.
So it's something about the Champions League though. It just serves up like some incredible games.
That Jorginho shot at the end was
scuffed.
That was a really good chance, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, Chelsea were incredibly unlucky, and Madrid. I mean, we'll talk about the semis in a minute, but gonna have to play a lot better than that. Like, seriously, they were absolutely outplayed. But I didn't catch much of the Bayern Villarreal game. I don't know if anyone did, but crazy result. And Bayern, really, really bad result for them. I don't know if any of you guys caught it, but I mean, fair play to Villarreal. I mean, I've seen them play twice this season with United, obviously, and didn't look great against us, but they got to it, like beating us in the Europa League, and then they've ended up in the semis. So obviously you're facing them today. So what do you make of Villarreal as a side? I don't know how much of them you've got watched this season, because most of people are watching the Chelsea Madrid game that night. But certainly it's not going to be as easy as people make out, because they are a very, very sticky side. But you must be fairly happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't, out of the 14th left, you couldn't really ask for an easier draw. With all due respect to them, like, I think they've got. I do think. Obviously, it's a favourable draw, but I do think we should, get to the final with ease, and that scares me. I don't like the idea of being in the final. To be honest,
You don't want to go behind against them. That's all I'd say.
No, yeah, exactly. Like we know, not funny. We know what Emery's like. We know exactly how he wants to play, and he plays the right way. Like I say, I don't watch too much of them anymore, for because I'm not an idiot. I don't watch Emery ball, but Man United last season, Man United this season, like they are a fantastically well organised side. I say organised. Like the only thing I watched of that game, other than the highlights, was that offside trap.
Oh, that was brilliant.
They bolted. That was brilliant to watch.
Fantastic.
No, it's definitely favourable, but they've got.
They're just very sticky, aren't they? Very sticky.
Some of the players they've got, like Etienne Capoue, like he's
fantastic player.
Yeah, fantastic at that age. Like probably deservedly of a first France call up in like 10 years, but I don't know. I just it's hard. To be honest, I spent the whole time watching the other games. Really,
yeah. Is it home second?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you're through there, aren't you?
Yeah,
always happens.
Even if you, I don't know, if they'd have got a result at Anfield and then took something back to their place.
I could be wrong. though.
No, you can't write them out. But Liverpool heavy favourites. But I don't expect it to be as easy as a lot of people make out.
We really
we
can't keep a clean sheet in a minute in Europe. Like
yeah,
I know Van Dijk was out yesterday, but like some of the goals he shipped yesterday were brutal to watch. And I'm sure if you're a Villarreal forward, you're watching that and you're licking your lips really. Regardless of how high the stakes are for us compared to them, like they would have loved watching Benfica do that to us yesterday.
Is that Anfield first game?
Anfield first. There you go.
And then Villarreal second.
That definitely favours them.
Yeah,
I do think Liverpool will go through, but to be fair, the comment what I was about to make was about the Anfield second. We all thought that at when they got 1-0, they should have took their chances to get it to like 2 or 3, even 4. They had very good chances against Bayern, and then you're thinking, okay, Bayern are gonna take it to their place 1-0 down, but it's okay. They'll easily, maybe not easily, but they'll be able to in a home crowd, dismantle them eventually. Villarreal stuck to their task. They're a very, very hard team to break down, and Emery's got them well drilled and well organised. And as Tay says, Liverpool concede chances. They hold a very high line, and Villarreal were able to exploit that against Bayern Munich, who again hold a very high line. So, it depends. The fact that Anfield is the first leg and Villarreal take it to home second leg could play advantage to Villarreal, but at the end of the day, I'll still put my money, if I was a betting man, for Liverpool to go through to the final.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
I think what's interesting as well, just to quickly note, is I think Carragher brought this up, but when they were looking at City and Liverpool's fixtures for the race for the title, when you do add like a Champions League semi-final in these sort of games with the fixture congestion, even with deep squads, one like big injury and your depth doesn't look quite as, I think Liverpool are very well equipped, but these games do come thick and fast and they're hard to adjust to. I mean, obviously they got City on the weekend. So
games will come thick and fast.
On the subject of that title, can we just quickly touch on Bayern Munich rather than Villarreal for a second?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
How?
Yeah. Galaxy brain.
Nagelsmann's been, touted as this next big thing, and I quite like him as a coach, but that was poor.
When you're a team like Bayern Munich, though, and you're winning the league pretty much every year, it does just come down to the Champions League, doesn't it? Like,
you've got the most informed player in the world over the last year. You could definitely say, well, domestically. I don't get it, because I don't think they'll see another Champions League semi-final for a few years, if I'm being honest.
What, Bayern?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of financial problems going on there right now, and I think. Yeah, they've just signed, Gravenberch and Mazraoui, like 2 good signers, but then they're never going to have the money to, compete with these teams, like, who are, up and coming. And from different leagues, it sounds stupid, it sounds like I'm waffling a bit, but, they got Goretzka that's going to leave, Lewandowski's going to be a year older. Let's be honest, Gnabry and Sane do not work. I'll say it now. I've never been massive on Sane, but why has he left? I saw something the other day, actually. He's the first player, I think, to lose five quarterfinals or something like that. Yeah. And I don't know if he's bad luck, but I just
5.
yeah,
5 in a row, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously the
Brutal.
first now City are through. Obviously they went through twice, didn't they? Like since Sane left.
That is harsh though to say.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But
One of those things where you put 2 and 2 together and you get
I know there's a Liverpool fan, that Squeeze, who has got his own podcast on Twitter. Like he loves Nagelsmann, but talks about Bayern a lot, and they do not move me at all. Bayern Munich. I'm sorry.
No, they're far worse than they were. Like they fell off massively.
We dismantled them arguably at their most recent peak as well. Like I don't really see it with them, and I don't know. I don't think they'll be back even as far as they've come this year. But
yeah, no, I
think that's more of a Do you think that's more of a like an achievement to Flick for winning all those trophies?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's
top coach.
He's my pick
talks,
after. Like, if I could have a manager after Klopp, it'd be Flick. But
I mean, I feel like he's one of the best managers in the world, Flick, and some people just point it down to the fact that Bayern, they're in the Bundesliga, so it's an easy league. But
would you not argue it's the same with Pochettino at PSG and with Tuchel? Like, people were saying, but they're these giants in these domestic leagues. But Bayern are probably going to win the league. PSG are probably going to win the league this year. But it goes to show the work Flick was doing when like I don't know.
I get your point. I think Bayern are definitely way off than they were a couple of years ago. And I was quite naive and thought they would smash Villa around a second leg. But fair play to them, they've done well, and that's why you can't write them off against Liverpool either.
Well, in a few years' time, and I'm not saying Lewandowski's going to fall off a cliff because he's not, but we all know that they don't have the financial superpower to go up against, a lot of other clubs in Europe. They got Lewandowski on a free transfer like years ago. Like, unless someone comes through, like, can you really see them going out and spending 70 million on a striker that's going to come in and replace Lewandowski? Like, they can't. No. That's not going to happen. I think when he goes, they'll be okay. Don't get me wrong, but I can't see him winning the Champions League for another 10 years.
The thing is that their recruitment is always very good. So I feel like they will get like a young gem that knows
Eddie
currently, and then a few years time they'll develop him, and then we will be talking about him in that way.
Yeah,
you never know,
Yeah, as good as their recruitment is, the way they want to play, like they don't even have like a right back, and I think like they've gone from a side which are naive in itself, playing like a Goretzka Kimmich pivot post Thiago leaving, to a side which is now playing 2 wingers as fullbacks or wing backs, 3 attacking mid, or 1 like Kimmich is not a 6 any way you put it. He's not. Your best bets from him are as an 8. Goretzka's not a 6 either. His best bets in an 8. So I think Bayern have got away with it. Yeah, I was thinking this quite correlating with United, but whatever way you put it, they've had immense talent, and under Flick, they could dominate games with their high pressure, their build up and everything, and the quality of players. But now they've gone from an unbalanced side to stupidly unbalanced. Like they've taken advantage, identical to how United did things. So I just think they've got to go back to more of a basic route and stop the galaxy brain wingers at left and right mid, get a right back in. Like they've got to just go for balance, because balance is the most important thing in football, really.
Yeah, 100%. Interesting times ahead, see how they get on. But I mean, I won't go too much into depth on Liverpool because they were pretty comfortable anyway. I mean, it was a crazy game. They were never really in trouble, but Nunes is a good player, isn't he? Like, that was the first time I've watched him properly, and I was really, really impressed. Like, obviously, I've seen like compilations and stuff, but that was the first game I've watched him fully, and yeah, he looked really good. So definitely want to look out for in the future. I mean, the other game, Man City, probably the most entertaining 0-0 I've ever seen, to be honest. It was crazy, but I think it shows it's a good sign for them that they got through that sort of game, because they are good at nicking 4 or 5 past people, but to come through a really hostile atmosphere. And Atletico Madrid were good in the last 10 or 15 minutes, but on the whole they didn't really threaten them too much. And it was City were nowhere near their best, but they did come through and set up a game against Real Madrid, which again, if Real Madrid have got any chance, they're going to have to play a lot better than they did the other night. So how do we see that one going?
City just too strong, really. I think because
I don't think you can ever write Madrid off in the Champions League.
No, of course not.
They're just inevitable. But at the same time, I think City would just outclass them. I don't really rate. Like, I think Ancelotti in that game against Chelsea, he made the substitutions far too late, which got them back into the game. They brought on an outlet as they badly needed one because Vinicius was getting completely pocketed by James, and otherwise you just have Benzema. And they had like 4 midfielders. They exactly needed to take off Kroos and bring on Camavinga, and those were ultimately what won it for them. Those 2 and Benzema, of course, but they didn't do that till far later on. And I think they got very, very lucky to go through against Chelsea. And I think the subs for Chelsea also cost them. But I think City will just be far too good for them.
Yeah, I agree. But you can't write them off. They've got so many game changers, as you can see. That, it's been spoke about to death. But that pass from Luka Modric was sensational.
Injuries as well. Like just thinking about the fact De Bruyne and Walker are out for the game against Liverpool.
Suspended.
Cancelo, I mean, don't know if that's like a bad thing necessarily against like a Vinny, considering defensively. I love Cancelo as a player, but defensively,
But then again, they're looking at potentially playing 4 centre-backs across the back 4. And that's not one of my biggest hates in football is a centre-back at full-back.
They're emulating Deschamps, France 2018.
But no, I would be surprised if Real Madrid won. But of course, you can't write them off. The likes of Benzema and Modric know how to do it on this stage. So it is looking like it's going to be the horrific final of City v Liverpool, and it's absolutely sickening.
I know. You
as a United fan, that must make you feel.
Do you know what? I hate football. It's not worth it. I couldn't live with losing the final to Manchester City. It's like, obviously in Klopp's time here, we had the cup final against Man City, which we lost, and I cried. I had school the next day as well, so it was long. Then Europa League final was that against the Emery side actually. They lost after going 1-0 up. I cried. And then I thought after a few years we didn't really do anything, and then we got in the final against Real Madrid. Yeah, and the week leading up to it was horrible. I didn't speak to anyone. On the day, my parents had gone out, and I sat in my room. I didn't eat. I didn't speak because I was so nervous. Couldn't go on Twitter because I was like, what if we lose? What if we lose? What if we lose? And yeah, I cried after we lost that. But, and then after that, football, we came back and won it the next year. But I can't deal with losing it to City. Chelsea City, I'd actually preferred watching that than I will this year, assuming it is Liverpool Man City, of course, because I love it as a neutral, being able to pick on things. But I'm really fragile. And to lose to Man City, it doesn't get worse than that in a Champions League final. Maybe Man United, but
don't have to worry about that anytime soon.
This is why I feel I feel like Real Madrid will somehow get to the final.
Just stop the script.
Just based on the fact that Real Madrid know how to win trophies. They're inevitable, as Matt says. And you're thinking Chelsea are all but done, 3-0 up. But Real Madrid I feel like I hear football players, ex-players talk about experience in the big game so much, and sometimes I just overlook that, but it's actually so crucial.
No, of course.
City really don't have that experience of getting. I mean, they got to the final once last year, but have tons of experience over them, and just to know how. I don't like when to do this, when to do that. I just feel like Real Madrid can do it.
Can you imagine if Madrid get to that? Say it is a Real Madrid Liverpool Champions League final, which I think is very, very easily done. Both managers at the start of the season will be in Liverpool. Like,
oh yeah,
it's crazy to me.
Oh yeah.
Well, whenever, yeah.
Alisson's gonna do a Carrius.
Mate, I can't. Do you know what? Yeah,
you'd cut ties.
I was saying to my friendly Liverpool fan, like, I don't believe we'll win the quadruple. To be honest, I think we'll just finish the season with a Carabao Cup, and that's the way it goes sometimes. But I feel like if we win the quadruple, I don't think football's worth watching as a fan of a certain team because it doesn't get better. But losing the Champions League final, I can't put it into words. It's like losing a family member. It's horrible.
Unbelievable.
So you know what? You think we'll lose to City on the weekend?
I'm not asked, to be honest. I'd like to win the FA Cup, but I don't know. I do this thing, basically. Normal football fans will get themselves psyched up for a big game and I'll get ready to go to the pub with everyone and watch it, blah, 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 talk about it, break it down. I ignore it until it's an hour before kickoff and then all the nerves kick in. Other than that, I do not think about it. Like people love going down the pub or whatever to watch it. I like sitting in my room on my own and watching it because I get nervous that other people will put me off. If I was in the pub on last Sunday when we won them down in 5 minutes, oh mate,
That's
I
gone.
probably would have cried. But
I'd much prefer when I'm at the games. My nerves are way better.
yeah,
Like watching it on
yeah.
telly is 10 times worse.
It's horrible, isn't
You're
it?
more soaked in the atmosphere side of things
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Whereas at
Sort
home,
of-
it's like
Yeah, you
It's
forget about
cagey,
everything
isn't
else.
it?
we're
Like,
getting
being around
battered
so
in
many
20
other fans
minutes.
does help a lot. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've spoken enough about the Champions League. We'll just touch on the other two competitions quickly. Obviously, they happened tonight. Crazy stuff in the Europa League. I mean, some performance from West Ham, especially how well they did in the first leg to get a draw after being down to 10 men, unfairly, some may say. But to go to Lyon and win 3-0, that is some achievement. And their fans must be on cloud nine tonight. And fair play to them because they have been through a lot in the last couple of years. And fair play to them boys. He's done a top job. And we haven't got too much time to break it down, but I hope they all have a good night out in Lyon.
Jared Bowen
That
on the
is some
floor.
result. That is incredible. Like, a nervy game like that and just going and winning 3-0. That's what dreams are made of, honestly. But
How good is David Moyes? Like,
yeah. And the team, Rice bagging a goal, Bowen's goal was brilliant. Terrible defending for
Bowen's got
Dawson's
to get
header,
an
but
England call up, hasn't he?
pardon?
Bowen has to get an England call up. He's so good.
Yeah, he's
so
fantastic.
good.
He's absolutely fantastic. In other news, Rangers also through, and that's again an amazing achievement for them to be in the last four of the Europa League. Did their best to not get through the side against 9 men. I think they had 3 goals disallowed. They hit the post twice. Braga
Arfield
sent off.
cameo.
Arfield missed an open net. But crazy game. But I mean, fair play to them again. That's a top achievement, especially losing their manager mid-season. Van Bronckhorst in the league, it's not gone so well, but in the Europa, they've been fantastic and they fully deserve that. Elsewhere, Barcelona crashed out very surprisingly. I did not expect that at all in the form they're in. But 30,000 Frankfurt fans in Barcelona will enjoy their night for sure.
Was it 30,000?
30,000, crazy.
Is it not? It could have been more as well because home end though.
Yeah,
like
all
I
over
swear
the
I saw. Did you see the protest as well?
What was that?
30,000.
I still don't know why that was, but I saw a protest. Like the Barca fans were protesting, and then they came out like 20 minutes into the second half or something.
I can't lie, I didn't watch any of the game, but
The protest against Eric Garcia, probably.
Honestly, I wouldn't. I wouldn't put him against it. That guy is very, very, very clumsy.
Even the 3-2 was out of context a little bit because there were 2 goals in added time. So brilliant.
And Dicker got sent off for absolutely no reason in the last minute, which means they'll miss the game against West Ham first.
Who was it that got sent off?
And Dicker, I think. I might be wrong there.
Yeah, I've just seen you.
I couldn't watch it. It's one of those unexplainable penalty and second yellows. Like they both jump for the ball. It's maybe a free kick in normal play, but
yeah, crazy stuff. Very silly. But and then the last team through, Leipzig, who may be favourites now, to be fair. They're looking like the strongest team left in it on paper, even though they haven't been fantastic in the league this season. But they got through a tie against Atalanta. I believe they'll now play Rangers, and then it's West Ham against Frankfurt. So if you're West Ham, you've got to fancy your chances there, seriously, like to get through to a European final. So what do you reckon then? Who's getting to the final out of those?
It's tough, isn't it? Like we'll see. You can never predict knockout football, but like you would say, Leipzig and West Ham.
Yeah,
I think they are the 2 strongest teams, and out of them, do you know what? I quite like West Ham. We'll go West Ham.
But it's just. I'm getting flashbacks of Astragugu. Like I feel like they're going to bottle it eventually. I don't know.
Goes to show how far they've come on them.
Yeah, of course.
And if anything, they do deserve it as a fan base.
It just feels like 5 knockout ties, and I can't remember who they had, but they had Sevilla. I can't remember who they had before that, but none of them have been easy, and they've managed to get through them. So Sevilla, Lyon, Frankfurt, and then Leipzig. It is tough, but they can certainly do it. It'd be really interesting. But if you're a West Ham fan listening, just enjoy it. Like honestly, this is incredible. Just take it all.
You know what's fantastic as well? Like when you think about it, I saw people say that Conference League's done so much good for Europa, and they're right. But like, think about the teams we've got left. We've got a Scottish team, we've got an English team, which isn't any of the top 6, traditional that is, and we've got 2 German teams. Like, who on earth is predicting that?
Yeah,
because the Europa semis.
English football is so clear at the minute, though, isn't it? Like, I mean,
Rangers though, that's a massive, massive deal for them. I mean, as you say, although they did try and mess it up, it's a massive, massive deal for them.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, Rangers against Leipzig, that is a tough ask, but Ibrox looked absolutely rocket tonight. Like, there's not many stadiums in world football that can create an atmosphere like that. Absolutely incredible. Like, it looked absolutely bouncing, and fair play to their fans as well. Very, very good fan base, and they deserve the success after a lot of years of, heartache, getting liquidated as a club and having to come all the way back up the top to now being a European semi-final, even if it's Europa League. It's quality. Just quickly, then we'll talk about the Conference League as well. Mainly Leicester. Again, they were looking like they were going out, but come back from 1-0 down with 2 late goals. Really, really good.
The
Really,
semis,
really
baby.
impressive. You
Closet
there?
Leicester fan.
Huh?
You
Closet
going?
Leicester fan.
Yeah, I've got a membership there, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so he's on loan at Spurs and he's a Leicester fan. Interesting.
This guy is like 2/3 of like the 2016 title race, just not Arsenal.
That picture where it has like the Arsenal,
Everyone against Arsenal.
the Liverpool bottle, the Man United kit.
Yeah.
So to avoid any confusion there, Demir is studying at Leicester Uni. So to avoid any confusion there, he doesn't actually support 3 or 4 teams. But yeah, they are playing Roma, Jose Mourinho's Roma, who finally got the better of Bodo Glimt on the 4th attempt. But
you were buzzing when you saw the 2-1 and all that.
But they did finally get the better of them, and that'll be an interesting matchup. And then you've got Marseille and Feyenoord also going through. Marseille had a good season, so that won't be an easy task for Leicester if they are to get to the final.
You'd argue the Conference League is like just as more exciting than the Europa League, isn't it?
Yeah.
Leicester final
lineup. So
what are you doing if Jose wins?
It's the Conference League.
So what?
He'll be on loan at Roma.
Roma were probably the best team going into it. They're not winning it. Leicester are dumping them out. I'm over it anyway.
I'll be supporting Roma.
All our listeners here and watchers, Ethan has a massive agenda against Jose Mourinho.
He loves Mourinho.
Absolutely not.
He's got posters, but he cuts it out. Just
up the Foxes. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, we'll move on from Europe. Obviously, a crazy week, and we'll talk about it more as we get over to the semi-finals. So here's one for you then, Matt. Arsenal at the minute, not ideal. Obviously, the loss against Crystal Palace, loss against Brighton has somehow put Spurs back in the driving seat for top 4, and a lot of injuries haven't sort of helped. I think Partey's out for not too much longer, I don't think, but Tierney's out for the season. You've got Tomiyasu, who's disappeared off the face of the earth, still not back. Lacazette just picked up a fresh injury. Not looking ideal at the minute. So, how are you going to get this season back on track?
All right. Well, for starters, I'm like Demir on loan at Liverpool. So, no, I'm joking. I mean, just Arteta needs to just not galaxy brain it, to be honest. You're playing Brighton. What I said about Bayern, just go for control, go for balance. Don't overcomplicate things. Don't put Xhaka at left back. Because you put Xhaka at left back, you're putting Sambi Lokonga as a loan, who, like, some people, I really like Sambi Lokonga, but I'm seeing a lot of, like, criticism on him, or I'm seeing, whatever. Like, just what can you even say about a player whose only pivot whenever he's played is with Charlie Patino against Nottingham Forest away? Like, it's just simples, honestly. If Arteta doesn't go to that 4-2-3-1, I'll be amazed, and it'll be quite worrying future-wise, to be honest, because it'll mean we'll do the same against Chelsea, United, and West Ham, which, just stupid, really. That's ultimately all it is. Half time he changed it, but I mean, also when you have your number 9, who's apparently injured now, he doesn't feel like scoring goals. Link-up plays just gone down the drain, apparently. Like, recently, it's sad as well, because although he's never been like a massive goal scorer, he has been like a really useful player for us, like linking up play and stuff. But these last few games, I couldn't even tell you, like against Brighton, like honestly, if you're a centre back, you must love playing him. You've just got nothing to worry about at any point. He won't run in behind you. He won't win anything against you. Like, you've got absolutely nothing to worry about.
He thinks he should kill O'Neill in the post.
Wait, regarding the injuries you said, I wish Partey was back soon, but he's also pretty much out for the season.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, horrible. Tierney obviously out for the season. I mean, Tomiyasu, as you said, he's off the face of the earth. Apparently, he was in. I mean, I heard he was in training the other day.
I saw a photo of him at the game on Saturday, so he is alive.
Tommy, if you're listening to this, I'm a big fan.
It's just a full management experiment. He's not real. He's not a real player.
Do you think it will come down to the North London derby? to settle it.
The thing is,
Well,
right, I think Arsenal
It's very late, so it could be
Arsenal
done.
a few weeks ago were in the driving seat, so they pretty much would get away with a draw. But now they probably have to go there and win.
The thing
you
is-
know what
the thing is
though?
now,
Like,
do you know what I think? Like, it's a bit like, well, it's in contrast to Liverpool and City. You're thinking City's in the driving seat because they're most likely to go on a winning streak. I can see Tottenham easily messing up again.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%.
Like we still got is it 7 games to go?
Yeah,
That's
still
still
got
that's
still
still
got
a
the
lot
job as well.
for a normal team.
the biggest
if that makes
problem
sense.
for us is you're completely right there, but the biggest problem for us is we messed up our easiest game in the running. And to be fair, we have played our back-to-back bogey teams, like Brighton and Palace are our two notorious teams who are bogey teams. So yeah, like that. But it kind of worries me as well, as stupid as this sounds. It worries me that Southampton haven't won at home in a long while, when United
It's
haven't won
typical, isn't
a
it?
game in a long while. Because like I don't like in my head, I can't see a way United come to like Arsenal and win or dominate or anything like that. I can't see a possibility. But when I see United haven't won in however long, if they drop points to Norwich, I don't know, who knows there, Everton, etc., then it's just, you know,
Where you be dropping points to Norwich? I swear to God, man, if you drop points to Norwich,
could have done the first game, to be fair, bar for us.
Literally should have
I
lost
mean,
that.
but yeah, that's the
Norwich are
no,
flying
like-
now, though, aren't
yeah.
Norwich is flying.
I've seen
Burnley
their
now.
only other, because they've won 5 games this season. They've won 2 on the bounce, 2 on the bounce. They've just got their 5th against Watford. So if they continue the pattern, we're finished.
You know what that means, yeah.
We're finished
But,
regardless. Our season's done anyway.
I'd
Yeah,
like
anyway,
to throw out a conspiracy theory as well. I'm not buying that we get 3 points per win and Spurs get 3 points and United get 3 points per win. I'm not buying that. United win a game, they're getting like 5 points. Spurs win a game, they're getting like 4 points. Because like on paper, it's like, all right, we've been so good this season. You know, like we should be very like far away from the 2 teams behind. Spurs lost like 5 in a row or something stupid. They win 2 in a row and then they're back to being like a point behind us. United, they're still, funny enough, they won't get top 4 or anything, right? But if they beat Norwich and one of us slip up, you're still in like a point.
we would have been in top 4 had we beaten.
That's the worst thing. That
Yeah,
we
would
are
have.
still
annoying.
only about 6 points
Like
off. and I don't
like we say every time when we lose, that's it. Top 4 is done now, but it's never done. Like
That's
all
the
other
thing
teams
though.
keep
Like,
up.
All you got to
Like,
do is win
it's
about
all
3 in a row. I don't know if we've won 3 in a row all season. Never mind, like when the pressure's on.
I mean, Everton, come on. Everton and Leicester, come on.
Everton were always going to win that game, though. Like,
Yeah, no, we said last
inevitable.
time.
yeah, that was written about 4 years ago.
But they're dreadful, aren't they?
4 years ago, fair play. Well, Everton were going down 4 years ago.
It's always been in the pipeline. Like, there was no way that Everton, after dropping points to
Burnley.
Burnley.
Yeah, Burnley. There was no.
They were
way.
always beating us. The Premier League script writers have got us by the
They
neck.
got us.
Anyway,
You know
we'll
what?
move
As
on.
well, I'll
We'll
just
move
very
on.
quickly
Oh, go on.
add it. Like in terms of the actual top 4 race, I did a lot of waffle there about nothingness. The thing is with us is we've got a lot of tough games left, but we're definitely not out of things. We've seen how quickly things can change in an instant. And are you telling me Spurs are going to win 7 in a row or
No
win
chance.
every game by
The way they're playing, why
No.
not?
Well,
But
yeah,
like,
of course, but
I think they'll beat us.
no chance. Get
No.
it.
Have you seen, with all due
you
respect,
played Tyler
Benfica-
Morton and
have you
James
seen-
Milner without Van Dijk.
Have you seen?
last time
Did you see
played?
what Benfica did to a high line? Can you
Yeah,
imagine
but
Son?
no Virgil, no Trent, no Robbo.
Oh yeah, Trent makes a big difference.
Yeah, you had your whole midfield. You had who was it? You had like Henderson, Milner, someone else.
Oh, he plays anyway.
Cater.
Keita, yeah. But you didn't even have. Yeah,
You made
I mean,
about 8 changes. I wouldn't deep them Benfica.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I'm not deep in the
Don't-
team,
don't
but
deep
I've
it,
seen
yeah.
the way.
But no, it'd be an interesting one. Spurs are brilliant at the minute. But yeah,
Put it this way. I'll just say as well. Put it this way. With Liverpool, it's so important their spine. If they lose their spine, if they play Spurs right at Anfield, I still think like they'll do all right, right? But if they played Spurs at Anfield and Van Dijk's out, and Thiago's out, Fabinho's out, etc. Same scenario as first game, then I'd be worried because you've shown that without Van Dijk and without these core players, you're a bit shaky. But with Van Dijk and stuff, City are unbelievably good to exploit that high line in that first half. But no team really is gonna going to do that same wavelength. And for once, I'll be celebrating if Jota gets his inevitable 15-minute header. So yeah.
No, we'll have to keep something, definitely something to keep an eye on. But we'll move on. We just mentioned United a minute ago, finished establishment, but we have got our man by the sounds of it. I mean, it was pretty much done last week as we spoke, but seems like he is done now. So I want to talk a bit more about transfer targets because we clearly need a massive squad overhaul. So I'll come to you first, Emil, and then I'll come to the others as well to put their input. But I mean, 3 ins, 3 outs straight away. Who would you say? Start with the outs. It's probably easier.
Yeah, I tell you the outs.
The Glazers.
Is this what I would do? Like the first outs I would do?
Yeah, well, or what you think you'd do, sort of bit of both.
The first out probably be.
Where'd you start?
Actually. Like the thing is the outs. Like everyone's gonna. There's a lot of people that's gonna leave on a free.
Yeah.
That Cavani, I would get rid, but he's going on a free. Pogba's gonna go on a free anyway. Lingard's going on a free.
Mata.
Do you know what I mean?
That's 4 on a free. £0 for those 4 players. Great business.
How much do you think you spent on them combined as well?
Only Man United, Ethan, would sell Pogba on a free, buy him back for 89 million, then sell him on a free. That was that. Anyway, what I'll do, I'll probably sell. Don't know. I'll probably sell someone like. Wan-Bissaka. I don't think.
I thought you rated him.
No. I rate him to the extent that Dallow's horrific. I'll sell probably both, but I feel like fullback, right back.
Who's gonna buy him though? SE Dons.
I feel like we definitely need a right back. Wan-Bissaka's not up to it, and that Dallo I just don't rate at all. I don't see what he offers. Wan-Bissaka I see what he offers a little bit with his defensive ability, but that's just to the extent that he can slide tackle. I mean, his positioning is all over the place, and I just feel like we could do better. I don't know really. Like, I mean, you could argue the goalkeeper, De Gea, but I don't know.
Do you think I think he might bid him?
I don't know. I
think he will. I think he will.
I don't think it'll be like Pep. If that makes sense.
Nah, I don't know.
If he's intelligent, then
what I would say is that the new contract talks have died down a bit. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I would get a new goalkeeper completely. So obviously, I'd like Henderson as a number 2, but he won't be satisfied with that. So I mean, we've been linked with Sam Johnston as a number 2. I mean, you take that, but you don't really deep too much into a number 2 goalkeeper. I think, yeah, new right back's definitely needed. Defensive midfielder goes without saying. We need another attacker because of the Greenwood situation and a couple of players leaving.
Who would you sell? But selling's quite hard.
But I mean, the four that are going on frees do probably need to go, but they're going anyway. So
yeah, that's
you can't really say them. But I mean, Shaw and Maguire, I'm happy with. I mean, Maguire's obviously been terrible this season, but as you said last week, I think Ten Hag will liked him quite a lot, so he at least deserves a chance under him. As much as I don't rate Van der Beek, you have to give him a chance under Ten Hag because that's why he played his best football of his career. I mean, Fred and McTominay aren't going anywhere. Rashford won't be going anywhere, I don't imagine. I mean, again, he's done too much for us to write him off after a few bad months. You give him another chance under the new manager. Sancho obviously isn't going everywhere. Ronaldo, I saw a rumour today. It's only Daily Star. I mean, they don't know a thing, but be interesting to see what happens with him. Again, I probably wouldn't get rid. I think he could still offer a lot, but we certainly need somebody to at least compete with him. And as for targets, it is quite hard to, say, because I don't really know who he's going to want to bring in. A few names, we've been linked with Timber, the centre back, but I don't think he starts for us. Does he start for us? Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
Anthony been linked. I mean, I don't know a massive amount about him. He looks decent, but 70 million is a lot of money. Obviously, defensive midfield, Declan Rice is the name that's always going to be about. I'd be very happy with that. But
I've seen Phillips rumours.
Phillips, yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah. I think that'll be a really smart signing for you as well.
Signing that I would take definitely.
Phillips seems like it's quite advanced. I don't know if you saw what Sammy Lucker said.
Yeah. If Ten Hag wants him, then it can get done. The deal can be done.
Leeds tears would be sensational.
I I've seen United fans on like group chats I got on WhatsApp and Twitter. I see that they think he's bang average or not to United standards. What's United standards? Come on.
Phillips is massive. I mean, I like Fred, but Phillips is an upgrade on Fred. He's certainly an upgrade on McTominay.
Phillips is integral to Leeds. I mean, he's the only defensive midfielder in the whole of Leeds midfield.
And if he can hold down that role the way they play as a lone six, then that obviously is a good sign.
That's what I'm saying. For Leeds as well, he does hold that position well. So for us, and we don't play crazy ball like attacking and then like go gun ho all the time. I feel like he can
he'd
play
improve
that
us
position
loads, I think.
Definitely. I mean, like people now for United, they have too high standards. Like we have decreased. Like we've dropped as a club. Like we gotta admit it. And that's one of our biggest downfalls itself is not realizing where we are as a club right now. I think Phillips is a good signing. He's going to be cheap. I'm seeing like 20 million. I definitely
20
take him.
million? Surely not.
It's only if they go down.
Surely not that cheap.
He's got 2 years left.
Yeah,
that's
I
what,
doubt they'd sell for that cheap.
I'm sure that's what Samuel Locker said.
20 mil, that's a no-brainer. I reckon he's going for more like 50, 60. And I'd probably still be happy with that.
I really don't think it would. I have to check again, but I'm sure I saw something about 20 million.
I feel like signing Phillips would just be too smart for Manchester United.
Yeah,
well, given their track record over the last few years, I think it's a way too smart signing. And I'm actually I wouldn't use the word jealous, but I'm actually quite impressed. If you didn't
hopefully that's a sign of things to come. A striker is certainly needed too.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of Nunez, I'd definitely be on board with that. Other than that, obviously Kane is there, but if you're Kane and you want to take your career to the next level, why on earth would you join us at this current point?
Do you think with Nunez, I haven't really seen. I mean, even the Champions League, I didn't get to watch the full game with Liverpool at all. Not both legs, that is. So I haven't really seen him this season, and I'm seeing talks about his overall general play, isn't like quite up to standard, and he's being price tagged at around 80 million euros, I think.
You'd be massively overpaying for him in that price, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't. Also, he's a left-oriented attacker as well. Like maybe he can be as a 9, but he's played on the left so much, which is another left-sided attacker you don't need for that money.
Yeah, I hear that.
No,
he's a good player. Like great finisher. Like he's tidy on the ball. But other than that, it's hard for me to say because I don't watch him 30 times a season. But I have followed him for like 2 years, and because when he moved from Almeria, I thought, he's going to kick on, but he didn't first season. He almost went to West Ham, and I think
went to Brighton as well last season.
Yeah. Brighton in the summer, West Ham in January. Yeah,
I think a club like West Ham should look. I know he's playing Champions League now, and I know he's scoring goals, but I wouldn't have a problem with United buying him at the right price, but for 80, 90 million pound, no way. I think
who else is there though? I saw Richarlison today. Nah, surely not.
No. You'd rather just get Martial back than Richarlison.
Yeah, no, you're right. They're pretty similar standard.
The striker market is horrid actually at the minute.
Do you give Martial another whack under Ten Hag, Demil?
Yeah, I would, but I would say that we need to offload quite. I feel like if we offload the wages of say Pogba, Martial, Cavani,
Mata, that's a lot of money there.
That's a lot of money gone, which we can able to spend in elsewhere. So it depends where Martial's going to play. If he plays on the left wing, then you're moving Sancho onto the right wing. And Sancho's played well on the left wing this season. He can play onto the right wing, but I understand Matt's point now where he needs like an attacking right back to fully get the best out of him.
Yeah.
So if he plays up front, I'm happy.
Unless you just Martial and Ronaldo share the minutes, because I think if Ronaldo starts 20 games next season, he's probably got a lot to offer. But any more than that, like I said, I still think he's got a lot to offer, but his limitations are showing more by the week. So you can't trust him as your main striker for another year. You do need somebody to at least share the minutes with. But yeah,
what do you think of someone like
go on?
One more name I just throw out. What do you think of someone like Tony? I've seen
Another smart signing.
Big
linked
fan.
him as well.
I think Liverpool, Arsenal, or United need to buy him. I think that's such a smart signing.
I think
No brainer.
Yeah, I think personally that's what I would look to target.
Certainly wouldn't be against that.
Yeah.
Got a lot of potential as well. Still got a lot of years left in him to prove even more. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be against that. I'm sort of one of them. Maybe I don't really appreciate him enough just because he's, Brentford. It's his first season in the Premier League and that, but he has been great this season. And, in a better team, he could certainly thrive. Again, I think if Calvert-Lewin hadn't fell off a cliff so much, I wouldn't be against that. But this season, he's been really suspect.
He's not a good player.
You're not
I'm worried. We're supposedly agreed personal terms in for months, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Would you have said the same this time last year, Tony?
Yeah, I promise you, if there's any player on the earth who I can vouch for that I've never been on board with him, me and my mate Josh, he's a Chelsea fan, he will vouch for me. We've been saying for years he's not a good player. He's not a good player. And I'd love for him to go and prove me wrong. And I know he scored for England last year, but me and him, I assume we were going to die on the hill. We've got the receipts. He's not good. I promise you. And this season,
based on this season, you might be right.
Smarter.
We'll see. We will see. Last sort of thing we want to talk about before we reveal the quiz answers. Signing of the January window. I mean, we've had almost 3 months now of the January window. So there's been a lot of decent signings. So I think one name is going to be very, very popular. So I'll come to you, Matt. Do you want to throw a couple of names out there?
I'll be honest, I'm not giving this one much thought. I just think that's such a clear and obvious winner, and that's Kulusevski. It's just like he's added that, I guess, that pressure off Kane and Son. Kane's obviously underperformed big time first half of the season. Kulusevski's come in, just brought that additional player, very, very intelligent, been a really good finisher as well. Been surprised. He's great on the ball. His passing's great. He's just such a tidy player, really. And it's another example of it's another example of my point of signing players from like corrupt type clubs. It's hard to judge them, and Benton goes under that bracket as well. But I knew Kulusevski would be a good player, but I don't think he'd be as good as he's been.
And he's only 21.
Yep.
I was a massive fan of him before.
Is it only if they get a Champions League they get a permanent? Or I'm sure they'll organise it some way.
Yeah. I don't think Juve want him anyway, to be honest.
Juve don't know how to use players
they
like
need
that.
They need the money.
They had Pirlo and got rid of him for.
Well, you never know. Dybala's off this summer, isn't he? So.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a great bargain as well. 10 million euros loan fee. Only 21, and what he's added to that team, like Matt says, lifted the pressure off, and he's added he's contributed it massively. He's got 9 goals and assists in 10 games, and he's in total with Kane and Son. He's helped Kane and Son up their level as well, and as a trio now, they're one of the best in Europe. You have to say. I mean, they got 38 goal involvements between the three, and he's part of the reason why Spurs are now in this position to get fourth. I'm such a big fan, honestly.
He's been superb. He's been fantastic.
I think what I like as well, I just want to add as well, like when you have 2 unbelievable players in the team, but the third's been a bit of a rotation, purple patch player, inconsistent, Lucas Moura, Bergwijn, that sort of name. When you have 3 players where if you're the opposition, you can't home in on one side because you've got the other side. And I like the balance of it as well. You've got obviously Kane who drops deep, but can be in the box as well. But you've got Kane who drops deep. You've got Son who's the outlet. And then you've got Kulusevski who's just the intelligent one, who could hold width or just stay back. He could also go in behind, even though he's not the quickest of players. So it's just really nice, versatile look.
The thing that impresses me the most about him as well is, numbers are numbers at the end of the day. You can't lie, but it's the quality of the assists he grabs as well. I don't know if you watched the Villa game the other day.
His finish was brilliant as well.
Absolutely sublime finish. You could see straight away what he was going to do. And for Son's hat-trick goal, the amount of times I'll see a winger keep his head down and just smash it into an area, it infuriates me. He takes his time, doesn't have to really beat anyone and just picks Son out. A beautiful finish, but the patience and I just think he's very, very, very intelligent. Like I said,
even when he cut in, when he made the right back or the defender sit down, normal normal or some wingers would have just tried once they cut in, whip it across. He gets his head up.
Exactly.
He looks in open space, and obviously you know Son's a brilliant finisher. What a finish that is for the hat trick, but
There's no better finisher in the world than Son.
Well, I think that's the question answered, but we will mention some other names as well. Obviously, I think one that will prove to probably be the best long term is probably Luis Diaz, and he's shown glimpses of being brilliant so far, just not quite as explosive as Kulusevski. So I'll come to you, Tay. Just a few thoughts on his start at the club.
Yeah, he's a breath of fresh air, really. Like, I mean, I think he's been treated a little bit unfairly to not have started some of the games in the league this season. But every time he's been called upon, he's been sublime. Like in the cup final, he was, one of our best players, like if not our best player by far. He's basically won us games against teams like Brighton, who, sometimes when you play Mane, Jota, Salah, or Firmino, they don't have that exact. I don't know. This burst is like cutting edge always, and that's exactly what he brings. I think if Spurs don't go in for Diaz in January and we don't pounce on it, I think we're 5, 6, 7 points off City. I think even a signing who hasn't contributed as much in the Premier League as goals and assists has, I think giving the whole squad a boost and telling them to pick it up a bit. I think players like Firmino have picked up their game. Like Mane started scoring goals as well, because Mane, you can tell, was like very, very competitive as well, where he's being rotated with Jota, with Firmino, now with Diaz as well, more than Salah is. I think it's massively helped everyone's game in the squad. And yeah, I mean, I'll give it to Kulusevski right now, but I think Diaz, he is sublime. Anyone who's watched him, like, he's electric as well. Like, he's so fun to watch. But
yeah, of course.
I'd probably have him in the same category right now as I've got a few in there for signing. I'll give it to Kulusevski now, but I think I've got a few players down who deserve a very good shout. One of them being Christian Eriksen. Give him it for free.
Great point.
Look at he's when he's playing, and he's healthy. Like, he's just he's a genius. Like, he's a genius. I mean, look at the way, I don't want to say he's transformed Brentford, but it's no shot that Brentford have come into goals and form as soon as Eriksen's found his place on the team. I've got Coutinho in there. I mean, maybe, some good games, some bad games, but,
he's definitely made an impact.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he's brought that, freshness, I guess, about Villa as well, like just an exciting player, particularly for Villa fans. Like it's like dreamland that they have a player like that.
I feel like when he's playing well, they play so like literally their performances depend on him. Like he was quite quiet at the weekend, and they
for a loan signing in January, that's crazy to say as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whether they
go
level raiser or not will be interesting, because
last name I got is a weird one, but I got Kieran Trippier as well. Like,
yeah, the injury's so unfortunate because he was
smashing
it.
Yeah.
You've got to mention the other Newcastle boys as well. Like, Guimaraes has been great when he's played. Dan Burn and Target have been fantastic as well.
I know,
Chris Wood's not quite hit the ground running, but the other four have been brilliant. And again, no coincidence there right at the table.
No, I'm not big on Weghorst.
I feel like
Bentancur
has some praise as well. He's also done well in that Tottenham midfield, and he's definitely upgraded the quality of the midfield as well. His technical ability, you can see the way he passes it into the front, into the forwards, into Kane, and Kane makes it stick. That's what you want as a striker, and to Son and to Kulu. I feel like Bentancur's ability on the ball is really, really nice to see.
Yeah, you know 100%. What? Even though they had a tough patch and all that, Spurs, they're not being near where they are right now if they didn't sign those two. And I said before, I can't see Spurs near us or near a top 4 race unless if they make major adjustments. Well, obviously they brought those two in, and they've got the very, very best out of Son and Kane. So that goes so far.
That just goes back to the whole point of signing players isn't just because X player is better than Y player. Signing a player for your first squad is so important morally to the whole team, And again, I'm bringing back to Liverpool because this is what I watched for years. But we didn't sign a player for 2 years, and you're watching our front three just deteriorate in front of you. And when, with all due respect to Tottenham, you can't play Højbjerg 38 games a match. Højbjerg and Harry Winks, because the only really talented midfielder they had didn't work out in Ndombele. you can't just sit there and watch that and expect this team to kick on and try getting us back in the Champions League. So these signings, I also think they've upgraded technically, but also they've upgraded the dressing room massively as well.
100%.
I think definitely with that whole Diaz example, that's so important because I think Jota was the first one which gave you that like sense of not freedom per se, but like that additional option, because before you signed Minamino, but never really worked for him. What was expected.
We were dropping
Origi injured. Injured.
We were going from, if Salah needed a rest, God forbid he didn't get injured. Like we were bringing in Minamino and on Origi. Like our third backup attacker was Oxlade-Chamberlain. Like
that's insane.
What does that do to your squad?
Just mentally for these obviously you said about the competitive aspect for Mane and stuff, but just mentally when you think about, all right, obviously these are such competitive players, but the pressure's off them to not, maybe the pressure's off Salah, for example. The goals he was scoring in that first part of the season were unsustainable, to be honest.
Exactly.
And outrageous. So he got all those
goals to
goals.
freshen up, and you can tell the impact it's made, and you're definitely better set up for the future now. So yeah, some great January signings, so it's just good to sort of reflect on them. And that's all we got time for the main topics. But just before we wrap up, it's time for Tay to step up again and see how we got on. I'm pretty confident I've got 3 out of 5 here.
Did you get my late submission for the?
Yeah, I saw your late submission. That's why I was laughing earlier.
I'm not confident of any, I'll be honest.
So if you could just read out the answers, Tay.
Of course. So I think Ethan's done well. I'm not sure here. So Rooney scored his first ever Premier League goal against which side? That would be Everton.
Oh, I was going to say
Hey?
I honestly had no idea.
Against?
Yeah, he scored against Everton. No, Arsenal.
Yeah,
Arsenal. My bad.
Oh, I shouldn't know. I feel like it was going to be Arsenal, to be fair. But
I'm so confused there.
I'm sorry.
What year was that?
2004.
Yeah.
Okay, to be fair, I was like 1 year old, so, or less. So,
Goalkeeper David Seaman joined who after leaving Arsenal? Manchester City.
Okay, I had no idea.
This one I regret putting in, but it's quite funny. Alex McLeish recommended Lionel Messi after finding him on Football Manager.
Is that true? Wow.
Yeah. And I
Messi for balance.
You said the best in the UK club as well, and it just didn't think of it like that.
There's so many like wife tales about that, but I tried to research it and I believe that to be true. Number 4, I saw you.
I'm gonna kick myself.
Only player to win the Champions League with 3 different clubs. Clarence Seedorf with Ajax.
Oh, I've seen that about 100 times.
Yeah.
Oh,
I forgot
one of
that.
those.
And the name 3 players to have scored a hat-trick in the United versus Liverpool fixture. You could have had Dirk Kuyt, Mohamed Salah, or Dimitar Berbatov.
Okay, I didn't get
3 out of 3.
Okay, I've got 2.
Yeah,
technically.
So going through it, I think Matt had Salah and Kuyt, and that's about it. I think he had Clint NG for the Rangers one.
Not think of any. You know what? There was another question. I got this combined. I got this lost. There was who was the Andre Villas-Boas? The player who he signed, the manager signed, the club signed, and the manager refused him, so he got, so he left the club.
Yeah, that was Oliver Ntcham.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking. I couldn't think of who it was, but that's the line I was thinking of. So
Ethan finished on 5. Demille finished on 1, 2, 3, 3. And Matt finished on 1. So I don't know if it's scored from last week.
I'm not surprised.
I really thought you'd get that.
3 United questions, Now, to be fair, Arsenal one, I probably maybe should.
I'm annoyed about Seedorf. Should have got that.
Wait, how many did you get? 5?
One of those.
Wow, I got 2 right, and then the 3 United players.
All 3 United players.
I don't know if
I got 2 United. 2 of
those.
To be fair,
5
I got all Rooney.
Can we really count that Dirk Kuyt hat-trick? Really? Really?
Could I have the second point?
I think someone added up like the total distance, like of all the goals, like yards out, and I think it was like 6. Like they were not real goals. But,
I want to leave here with something though. 2 points,
Well,
ignore the or.
I'll give you
Again,
10.
Let us know how you guys got on.
Come on, we'll take
5 out of 5. That is very impressive.
Yeah, apologies. That was quite hard. So
no, they were good. I enjoyed them. So
just old football stuff. I'm so unless if I know it, I'm just no chance.
Yeah, I feel like
we're drawing on the leaderboard 5-5.
Yeah, but you've answered 2 rounds of questions.
Yeah, okay, mate, but we're still drawing.
We'll see. Who wants it next week? Matt DeMille.
I feel like Matt.
Why not? Why
All
not?
right,
Yeah, no.
Matt's next for week 3.
Step up to the
The
plate.
questions. So
I got
stay
I
tuned.
got a feeling you're gonna make them really obscure.
It's just
Let us know how you guys got on
We'll
with those
see.
questions. And that is about all we've got time for. So thanks again for tuning in to episode 2. We'll be back next week for another one. Again, I'll shout out all our socials. So the main one's really Twitter, which is at TM4Pod. Obviously, like if you're watching on YouTube, you can also listen on Spotify and then vice versa as well. If you go to our Twitter, you'll be able to find all the different links there, and they'll also be in the description of this. So we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram as well. So you can get in touch with us, let us know what you think of the pod. If you want to submit any topics that you want us to discuss, that's also welcome. And any questions you want to see involved in the quiz, we'll definitely read all of those. So yeah, again, thanks for the support on all platforms. It's been much appreciated. Like it's gone down so well, and we really do appreciate it, and we're enjoying making them. So they keep coming out for as long as you guys are enjoying listening. So again, have a great week. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.